In this video, we are going to talk about Sun through the nakshatra of Purvaphalguni, Padas, symbolism, and more. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Brahmanic Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic astrology. And if you want to know more about Vedic astrology or if you want to learn Vedic astrology step by step, join my free training. Link is in the description, or you can go and watch my free training on my website, and which will help you to get started into Vedic astrology, and which will also help you to read your own chart, make predictions, even if you have no prior background to Vedic astrology, without spending thousands of dollars on Vedic astrology courses. See you on the other side of the training. Sun in the Purvaphalguni Nakshatra. Sun is the planet of self. Sun is the planet which gives you vision, wisdom, light. It is also the karaka for your career, leadership, authority, and this is responsible for anything structural and pivotal, anything. Okay, so anything pivotal is signified by Sun. Sun also represents your father, and it also represents your creativity as well. The sign of Leo, which is ruled by Sun, is the sign of creativity, the original fifth house, the house of your kids. You create your kids, right? That's one of the way of creating. Okay, so creation is also associated with this Sun. Now, let's talk about the Purvaphalguni Nakshatra. We have talked about the Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra in previous video, wherein we talked about the deity Aryaman, which is Lord Krishna. Now, this is the previous part of that nakshatra, the Purva. The Purvaphalguni is the first pair of Purva and Uttara, which, Purva literally means the prior one, Uttara means the later one. We have Purvaphalguni, Uttaraphalguni, Purvashada, Uttarashada, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada. Okay, so this is the first of that pair, Purvaphalguni, Uttaraphalguni, and this is the first nakshatra into that pada, into that pair. This nakshatra ranges from 13 degrees 20 minutes of Leo to the 26 degrees 40 minutes of Leo. All the four padas fall in the sign of Leo, and it has four padas. The first pada of this nakshatra goes into Leo Navamsha, the second pada goes into the Virgo Navamsha, third pada goes into the Libra Navamsha. This is a Pushkar Navamsha, by the way, and the fourth pada goes into the Scorpio Navamsha, and the first pada is Vargottama and the third pada is Pushkar Navamsha. Okay, now the deity associated with this nakshatra is the Bhaga. Bhaga is the deity of fortune. So Purvaphalguni Nakshatra is more about the fortune. These people are blessed. These people have some Purva Punya which helps them succeed into this lifetime. And this nakshatra is also one of the nakshatra which is great for Bhakti. A lot of the greatest of the Bhakt and the friends world has ever seen are born into this nakshatra. The Arjuna said to have born into this nakshatra when it was passing through both these nakshatras in one day. Okay, and you know that Arjuna was the greatest disciple and friend of Lord Krishna. Whenever we think of Arjun, Krishna is always there to help him. Okay, that's their friendship, and you would surprise that the deity of this Uttaraphalguni, the Aryaman, is Krishna, and Arjuna was known as a Falgun. One of the name for Arjun is Falgun, and he was born. He's said to be born during this time when the moon was passing through this nakshatra. Both these nakshatra, Falguni nakshatras. Okay. And one more thing about this nakshatra is it is one of the nakshatra which blesses you with all the pleasures, relaxations, and all kinds of luxuries. The dasha ruler of this nakshatra is Venus. So this nakshatra has qualities of Venus as well. The deity Bhaga, the word Bhaga is everywhere. If you look at the word Bhakta, it has the Bha. If you look at the Bhagwan, it has that Bhaga element into it. If you look at the word, okay, So Bhakta, Bhaga, Bhagwan, all of these had that deity Bhaga, that word Bhaga into that. So this Bhaga is the pleasure, is the Bhaga, is the spiritual abundance. So Purvaphalguni Nakshatra people are the people who will bless you with all kinds of pleasures for your spiritual growth. Okay, all kinds of spiritual, uh, all kinds of pleasures are also important in order to get ahead in life. Okay, and Purva Falgunis are more about the pleasures and relaxation. Why? Because this is the nakshatra right after Magha. Magha is a serious nakshatra of power, wherein it is all about, taking the blessings and inherited power from the uh, ancestors, and rule the world. And right after you are achieved that throne, now it's the time for the Purva Falguni. Now it's the time to relax. The symbolism associated with this nakshatra is bed, and bed is all about the relaxation, is about taking rest, is about the sexual union, all kinds of pleasures. You can be creative when you are taking rest. Like, let's say a writer is you know having his coffee on the bed and thinking about his next venture, thinking about his next movie, thinking about his next play, thinking about his next poem, right? So there are always phases of creation followed by the phases of recreation, or the phases of not doing anything, passively sitting down with yourself and do nothing, right? So that phase is the Purva Falguni Nakshatra. Purva Falguni Nakshatra people are the great people when it comes to marriage and family. If you have a parent with Purva Falguni influence, you're blessed one, because now they have the Purva Punya with them, and now they have that love, and now they always work for their children as well. Okay, now what happens when sun comes into the nakshatra Purva Falguni? The planet of self, the planet of self comes into the nakshatra of relaxation, recreation. Okay, so these people are more inclined towards pampering themselves. These people are more about having the self time. These people are more focusing on getting their self love dose. Okay, and what do I mean by that? They always like to have longer rest. Okay, and to reinvent themselves, the self, that is the sun part, and now it is getting reinvented by these recreational activities into the Purva Falguni Nakshatra. Purva Falguni Nakshatra is the nakshatra of you know partying, gatherings, and family. The planet of self comes into the nakshatra of family. So these people oftentimes host the family gatherings. These people oftentimes like to invite all their friends with their kids at their place and have fun. So these people always like to invite people on their home and throw a party, or you know just be around the family and enjoy the time. Another thing about the sun in the Purva Falguni Nakshatra is the planet of career comes into the nakshatra, which is about artistic things. So these people have a great edge into the artistic things. These people have some creative bud in them. They have some creative uh, talent in them. When sun comes into the nakshatra of Purva Falguni, these people like to travel, and they like to travel for pleasure. We talked about travel in many aspects. Like Shravan Nakshatra traveling is expansion. The Mrugashira Nakshatra traveling is for with their curious mind. They wants to know everything, like a deer, right? The travel of Shravana is expansive, like they want to cover everything. The travel of Purva Falguni is purely for pleasure. Okay, and they like to travel with their partner. So when sun comes in here, these people have some travel to some exotic locations, some unique locations, or locations with some historical backgrounds as well, because sun is the planet of which shows royal things, unique things. And now these people like to travel with their loved ones. Okay. On the downside, the planet of ego comes into the nakshatra, which is all about the tantrums. So these people can have some dramas around the ego issues. So they have to guard against this. Whenever sun comes in Purvaphalguni, because Purvaphalguni is about, being relaxed. And sun is the planet which is all about self. One of the thing I have observed about the Purvaphalguni Nakshatra is, as long as their physical comfort is intact, they are always wonderful people. But the moment their physical comfort gets disturbed, they get angry. For example, if they are sleeping in the afternoon and their kids or their husband just rushes into the room, now they get angry. Now they get mad at them for no reason, unproportionately, disproportionately. They get disproportionately, they react disproportionately to that because their comfort is now getting disturbed. Okay, but otherwise, this is a extremely social nakshatra. The Purvaphalguni Nakshatra is all about connecting with people, loving people, and socializing people. So this nakshatra is a social nakshatra. Okay, the planet of self comes into the nakshatra of society. So these people, now here sun doesn't feel comfortable for this signification, because king doesn't like to mingle with people. Queen does, but king is like, he has to maintain his aura, he has to maintain his power, he has to maintain the distance from the subjects to keep his respect intact. Okay, that's what most of the kings do. So when sun comes into the nakshatra of Purvaphalguni, this sun has a lesson to learn. This sun has a lesson to learn around being people. So this sun has to come down into the public, and that's the lesson for sun. And that's why in the third pada, this sun gets debilitated. Though it is a Pushkar Navamsha, it gets debilitated. We'll talk about that. So this nakshatra has 4 padas. The first pada of this nakshatra goes into Leo Navamsha. Now this becomes Vargottam pada, sun into the sign of sun and into the pada which is ruled by sun. It's all about creativity, being at the center stage, getting the attention wherever they go. Imagine sun is rising. So when sun comes out, everybody knows. So that's the power of sun. That's the power of self. That's the power of their self-esteem and the qualities they have. These people have some connection with the hammock and the bed. So in a way, this nakshatra is all about relaxation. More than anything, it is about relaxing after the fight and winning in Magha Nakshatra. It's time to take a rest and enjoy the life. Start the family. Now I got the throne, I became the king. It's time for family. And that's when Purvaphalguni comes in. Okay. The second pada of this nakshatra goes into Vargo Navamsha, and here these people are hardworking. These people like to be grounded, even though this is a sun, and in Purvaphalguni Nakshatra, they are more practical and hardworking than ever. Okay, the third pada of this nakshatra goes into the Libra Navamsha. This is a Pushkar Navamsha, but this doesn't save this sun. This sun becomes debilitated and is in the most challenging pada. So when sun is in Leo in the third pada, in the D1 it would be in Leo, and in D9 it would be in the Libra Navamsha, that is the debilitated Navamsha. So the lesson to learn for these people is to mingle with people, is to connect with the normal people, is to connect with the subjects, and not to consider yourself someone special. Okay, so you have to guard against ego and the self-esteem, and that will help you to connect with people. And Purva Phalguni Nakshatra will help you into this. Okay, so the fourth pada of this nakshatra goes into Scorpio Navamsha, and here sun is more about the strength. Okay, the rulership is with Mars, and when sun is in its own sign of Leo, both are fixed sign. So here sun likes to be into his element of fixed nature and always likes to work into and operate into these environments. Okay, but again, the sign of Scorpio is all about the depth of waters and emotional vulnerability. So these two elements will always be there whenever we see the Scorpion impact on any pada. Okay, so yes, this was Sun in Purvaphalguni Nakshatra. As much as I could hold, grasp, and share with you guys. If you want to learn more about Vedic astrology, these two videos on your screen will help you to deep dive into Vedic astrology. Or if you want to learn Vedic astrology step by step, join my free training. Link is in the description. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibes. See you in the next videos. Love and peace. Namaste.